We have had Carla Wagner here before. The last time she tried to get a proposition on the ballot to eliminate property tax. It didn't succeed, but she is tenacious and she's trying it again. So Carla, come on up here. And you've told us the last time, and you can see it on our YouTube channel, why we need to eliminate property tax. And there's a lot of reasons. You can get back into that again. I'd like to find out what you learned the last time from that and what has compelled you to think that we could succeed again. And I've noticed that since your last attempt to do this, a lot of people have signed on to the concept. I've even seen President Trump talk about eliminating property tax. And also in Ohio, you've got the governor candidate there talking about eliminating property tax. And if it happens there and not here, it makes us even less competitive. So Carla Wagner, thank you for coming back, and I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are on all this. Thank you so much. Carla Wagner.
Hey, everybody. Here we are again talking about property tax elimination because we know it needs to be done here in the state of Michigan. I'm not sure if you're aware, don't always listen to what the politicians are telling you. We are a bankrupt state. We are bringing in about $46.5 billion now, and we're spending north of 83. In fact, I think they just approved about an $86 billion spending, and we only bring in about $44.5 billion. So I'm not sure where all that money's going. No one has been able to tell me where it is. But when I say I want to eliminate property taxes in the state of Michigan, people always go, but Carla, how are you going to replace the revenue? Well, if somebody can tell me where that $30 billion went, I could tell you how to replace the revenue, because that $30 billion is way, way more than what we collect in property taxes every year. I want to see a show of hands of people who pay property tax. Let's get active here. Okay, how many of you like to pay property tax? Not so many. How many of you know what you're paying property taxes for? Services? How many of you use 100% of the services you're paying for on your property tax bill?
We don't know.
So why are you doing it? I think every single one of you should be up there signing the petition to eliminate property tax if you haven't already done it. People will say, who does not understand the replacement revenue? Is there people here that I need to address specific questions on replacement of the revenue? Yep. Do you realize that your local school millages do not educate your kids? Okay, so when people say, oh, it's for the kids, no, it's not. And when people say to me, Carla, if you eliminate property tax and if you vote no on a school millage, you don't love kids. And I say, yes, I love my kids and my grandkids and your kids and my neighbor's kids so much. I do not want to saddle them with another 30 years of debt that will make home ownership, the American dream, impossible for them. Because you realize that that is what we're doing. Every time you vote yes on a millage, you are saddling the future with so much debt. They will be renters for the rest of their lives. And who's going to guarantee that rent will be affordable? Because if there's property taxes out there and the landlord is paying an extremely high amount of property taxes, isn't rent going to be high as well? The only way to reduce or make housing affordable, we don't need to build affordable housing, we need to make housing affordable by the elimination of property tax. As Mark said, how do we, and Mike talked earlier, we need to bring business back to Michigan. Do you realize that we're spending billions of taxpayer dollars to bribe businesses to come here, and then when they come here, we forgive them property tax? If it's so stinking important that you're gonna rob me of my house to pay property taxes, why do you give these big corporations not only billions of our dollars, but property tax abatements as well? That makes no sense to me. And businesses here in Michigan that are proven businesses that were born and bred here in Michigan, that have been building Michigan, these businesses don't get that deal. We need to do something different. It is time to do something different, folks. If we want to be able to own our homes, own our farms, have businesses here. I'm a small business owner. I'm sure a lot of you are too. Small businesses, we cannot survive in Michigan today. We have been hit so hard with, first it was COVID, when you are non-essential, but your property taxes were essential. And then it was, now it's raised the wage, which is going to kill a bunch of us. And now it's higher property taxes all the way around. We need to do something different. If we want to make Michigan the manufacturing capital of the United States again, we need to eliminate property tax to bring those businesses back, to bring the people back, bring the jobs back, make houses affordable. Mark asked, why is it different this time than last time? Last time we didn't get a running start. We were held up by the Board of Electors for 7 months. They did not want our proposal to succeed and be on the 2024 presidential cycle with President Trump. So they stalled us. They sandbagged us for 7 months. We only had about 135 of the 180 days to circulate. But what I realized was how important the education was, because people were so far removed from their property taxes, they didn't understand that when they went and voted yes on a millage, their property tax was going up. Renters didn't understand that if they voted yes for a new zoo or a museum, that their rent would go up. They thought it was because they had a mean, nasty man as a landlord. That's not how it works. We need to educate people. We need to continue to educate people. This time around, we had a bigger, much more educated army of people. Our army grew faster. We had more than the 180 days to circulate the petition. In fact, we are now extending through the end of November to collect this. We're doing a final push to make sure we get this. But what we had, one of my goals when I started with the Axe My Tax petition recently was to get every gubernatorial candidate talking about property tax elimination, because I'm one of them. I'm talking about it, but all of the other ones that are running, they better be talking about it if they are listening to the people. Because everywhere you go, the only thing people talk about is property taxes and how high they are and how unaffordable they are. Right now, I think I have 5 of the 6 talking about property taxes in some way, shape, or form, either reform or elimination. Whoever wins, we need to hold their feet to their fire. If they're going to make promises, if they're going to make campaign promises that they will do something about property taxes, we need to hold them accountable. But the people we need to hold accountable the most are our own Republican representatives. There's a very small handful of them that understand what property taxes are doing to the state of Michigan. The rest of them don't care. They've had the opportunity. The Republicans wrote this last budget. They increased it. They've been talking bad about Governor Whitmer for the last 6 years, about how horrible she has been to raise the spending by $30 billion in 6 years, and they just raised it. They had the opportunity to lower it, and they didn't. The representatives, the people that we currently have in Lansing supposedly representing us are not. It's time to get them out of there. It's time to primary every single stinking one of them. If we want Michigan to be better, we need different administration. We need different representation. We need some kind of representation, please. Whose life has gotten better after $30 billion extra of spending? Nobody's. Where did the money go? Have the roads been fixed yet? No, we're going to raise more taxes to fix the roads. The $30 billion wasn't enough. Where did that money go? People, it's time to stand up. It's time to stand together. It's time to get rid of the most heinous tax we pay. Property tax. It will take your home. It will take your farm. It will take your business. It will take our state. We are a dying state. It is bankrupt. Believe me, it is bankrupt. If it was a business, it would not be operating. We elected President Trump because he was a businessman. and he knew how to fix America. I'm running for governor. I'm a business person. I know how to fix Michigan. It's very much in tune with what he's doing. It's very much in tune what Mr. Mike Steiger over here just talked about. We need to get together. We have the ability to sign this petition, to get this on the ballot, to get a win for the people of the state of Michigan, to put the representatives in Lansing on notice. You know what they said to me now? Oh, Carla, now that we've fixed the budget, we'll start working on property tax reform. I asked one of them, what does that look like? Tell me what that looks like. Is it going to be good enough to entice us to stop with our elimination petition? They said, well, maybe we'll take the SET and phase it out over 10 years. Big whoop. The SET is your state education tax. We all pay 6 mills. For me, that's $1,500 a year that I pay to the state education tax millage. That would save me, if they phase that out over 10 years, that would save me $150 a year. But my assessed value would probably go up so fast that the $150 would get eaten up. There would be no savings to me. I would not recognize any savings at all, and my house could still be on the chopping block. Which service or millage on your property tax bill are you willing to lose your house for? The monkey in the zoo? The book in the library? Which one is it? You better pick one, because it might be coming for you. Petitions are here. Thank you very much. Denver's got a question.
One question. Can you tell us the difference between income tax removal?
Oh, yes.
Which the rich politicians like Mike Rogers type or the governors, they would rather have that than the property tax.
I don't think that's been Mike Rogers. I think there are a couple of gubernatorial candidates that are talking about income tax elimination instead of property tax elimination. Here's what I'll tell you. Income tax elimination will only help the very wealthy and the corporations, and it does not save anyone's home. So my 88-year-old mother doesn't earn money, so she's not paying income tax. But she does pay a lot of property tax to the tune of she'll be losing it. You know, we just lost my dad. She lost half of her income. Her property taxes didn't get cut in half. Income tax elimination is for the very rich and corporations. Yes?
I know you'd have to have like where you amend the Constitution, but don't you think that a quicker way that would be a viable way to end property tax would be to amend, or at least get some relief on property tax? Because I'm right there with you. I think I live in Oxford, we pay a ridiculous amount of property tax. We're double, we're township and village. So I'm getting hammered on property taxes. Is there a way to go in and amend, and I know you have to have like the constitutional thing or whatever to amend the Constitution, but to get in and amend Proposition A, to rewrite Proposition A so that there is some type of relief where they're capping it, and you know how the cap falls off and stuff like that. Is there a way to go in and do that, or do you think there's too much headbutting between Democrats and Republicans to actually go in and amend the Michigan Constitution to rewrite Prop A?
That would require the legislators wanting to do something to help us, and they don't. We have had two legislators that have written 3 bills. 2 wrote one wrote another. For property tax reform, they can't even get the other Republicans to support them. Okay, so that's what I'm telling you. Your representatives don't want to help you. For the last 5 years, all I've heard from people across the state of Michigan is property taxes are too high and we can't afford them. So if your politicians, if your representatives, if your other gubernatorial candidates were actually listening to the people, that is what they would hear. And maybe they would help us do something about it. Yes?
You're talking about ending property taxes. A lot of my friends are like blue collar, they put in their 40, right? A lot of them can't afford to get a property in the first place. So for me, for young guys like me, you know, does this affect us? Does this affect how come we're not?
Absolutely. If there's no property taxes, home ownership would be a heck of a lot more affordable. because you can always figure out how much house you can afford. If you say, hey, I make 60,000, my wife makes 60,000, between the two of us, we make 120, we can afford a $200,000 house. If you just go out and get a loan for that $200,000, you will know what your payment's going to be every month. What changes is when they come out and reassess your house and it jumps up because your neighbor puts a pool in his backyard. Now your property taxes went up, your assessment went up, your insurance went up. That's what you can't afford. Okay? And then when landlords don't have to pay property taxes, rent will actually go down because it's just a pass-through tax. I'm telling you, I own a little restaurant. I pay $33,000 in property taxes at my building. That means I have to factor that into the plate of bacon and eggs I feed you in the morning. And you know what? As it keeps going up, so does the cost of your bacon and eggs. It'll get to the point where you're going to go, I'm not going to Carla's anymore. Her bacon and eggs, $20. I can't afford that. So I will either lose to property tax or I will lose my customers because I have to keep driving up my prices. Every single one of you pay property tax. Whether you know it or not, whether you own land or not, you're paying someone's property taxes in every consumable item you buy in the state of Michigan. Even Consumers Energy pays over $200 million in property taxes to the state of Michigan. I have yet to see a power tower at a library. They're not there. So where is that money going? All it's doing is jacking up our rates. It makes Michigan an unaffordable business or unaffordable state to do business in. Why do people not do business here? Our property taxes are too high, our utilities are too high. Because in Michigan, you're either cooling 6 months out of the year or you're heating 6 months out of the year. That's why they go to Tennessee. That's why they go to Kentucky where the weather's more temperate. Until our services are more affordable here, businesses will not be able to do business here. And you know what, folks? For those gubernatorial candidates that talk about income tax elimination, and they want to bring up the states that have eliminated income tax, namely Tennessee and Florida. Guess what's happening in Tennessee and Florida? Governor DeSantis is working on property tax elimination. Why? Because income tax elimination is not keeping people in Florida. And guess what? I just got a call from the people in Tennessee. The Nashville Tea Party people said, Carla, we want to do what you're doing. Why? Because in property in Tennessee, they're predicting will go up 15 to 26% property taxes. Who can afford that kind of a ride? I don't care if you're not paying income tax. It's the property tax that's going to take your property. And when we lose our property, we lose all of our rights. Do you think you'll be able to have a gun if you live in a government-owned entity? Do you think you'll be able to teach homeschool your kids in a government-owned entity? Do you think you'll be able to entertain the young peoples from your church in a government-owned entity? We are going to lose our land and we will lose all of our rights. All of them. Gone.
Ask
You need...
everybody to grab a sheet here today to get 5 signatures.
Great idea, Sandy. I have more than enough pages up there. If anybody wants to help us get signatures, get this done, get this on the ballot, scare the bejesus out of this legislation and this administration. This is what we need to do. We need to get this done, folks. Thank you very much. Did I answer it all?
Good job.
All right, thanks.
Carla Wagner, Axe My Tax. Thank you so much, Carla.